Welcome everyone to What's Happening in Crypto, exploring all of the latest from the crypto world and beyond. A Bloomberg expose points out how Bitcoin ATMs might be used in laundering money. Gonna clean my money, oh yeah, using that magical internet money, woo! Now, the expose actually goes into talking about how there's a real lack of oversight, how most Bitcoin ATMs are at least breaking one, if not many, laws. KYC seems to be largely absent from most Bitcoin ATMs in the USA. This story particularly focused on the USA. Now, I read this story, and I thought, you know what? Yeah, you can use a Bitcoin ATM to launder money. Cool. This is, the democratization of money laundering. This is great news for small-time criminals. True story, though. If you are a small-time, coke dealer or something like that, well, you can go down to these some of these more shady Bitcoin ATMs and you pay your 20 or 30% fees, and you might be able to launder your money using a fake ID and all these different kind of things. But at the same time, this whole process of you have your KYC, you scan your driver's license, all this kind of different stuff. IDs are stolen all the time. Crime is always going to find a way. You can't blame this on Bitcoin. You just can't. People have been laundering money forever. People have been trying to write over their crimes forever. I can just imagine back in, the Roman Empire and Roman times daily. You'd probably have gold is now being used as the money of choice for assassins. They get paid in gold coins, melt them down, and make them into different gold coins. It's unstoppable. Money is money. Money is always going to be used for some sort of tomfoolery, if you will. In this particular case, obviously, laundering their money from previous crime. And of course, you always have to question, what are those crimes that have been committed? Because there's a big difference in terms of crime when it comes to trying to launder your money. Are you a weed dealer in a state where it's not legal to sell weed? Laundering your money? Yeah, it may not be such an evil thing. Are you a self-employed prostitute trying to launder your money? Again, not such a bad thing. In fact, it kind of sucks that you don't have legal services where you can do your money banking at. But you don't. You have to go through these kind of methods in order to, get your money cleaned, I suppose, if you will. We can go down the list, of stolen goods. We could all generally agree that that's not a very good use for Bitcoin ATMs, and that maybe there should be some kind of oversight on that. Or, if you've just taken $20,000 for a sweet murder for hire job, yeah, you can still go launder your money using a Bitcoin ATM. And I think that that's the kind of bad thing that a lot of people want to legislate for. But by legislating for that one bad thing, you take out a whole bunch of other things along the way. And now look, we can spend a lot of time on whataboutisms, but I think the most important one, of course, is that banks, and banks again. Banks are the biggest money launderers in the world, and this whole Bitcoin is used for money laundering thing, and Bitcoin ATMs in particular are used for money laundering. Sure, of course it happens. You'd be crazy to argue not, because money is money. Money will always be money. Money will always be used to make crimes clean and to do weird things and things that other people might morally object to or that might be criminal or whatever it might be. That's money. It will always be money. It's a very important thing to remember. Now, in terms of the banks, on average, it's so big we don't even know the exact numbers, but they launder between $800 billion and $2 trillion a year. The banks. That's with KYC, that's with, stringent oversight by governments and regulatory bodies and all this stuff. Up to $2 trillion a year. Probably more. I wouldn't be surprised if it was more. That might be a conservative estimate. But these are the official numbers that I found. That's a tremendous amount of money being laundered every year, not via Bitcoin ATMs and some, 7-Eleven on some, alleyway somewhere or something like that. No, these are people that are walking right through the front door into a marble hallway where people say, "Welcome to our bank, sir. Please have a seat. Can I get you a cup of coffee?" We would love to help you launder your money. That is happening to the tune of $2 trillion a year. Right now, Bitcoin money laundering, it happens. It's a very small number. Even with the wildest estimates of the Bitcoin ATM money laundering thing, they said 500 million. And that's the wildest estimate, assuming that almost all transactions happening on Bitcoin ATMs are, money laundering endeavors, which is, of course, not the case, without a doubt. The number will be much, much smaller. The fact that Bloomberg has to take the time to write a big expose about how Bitcoin ATMs are being used for laundering Bitcoin lacks a lot of, can we say intellectual honesty? Term we can use here. Because again, the banks. And just because the banks are laundering money, yeah, sure, you can use Bitcoin too, but the real problem here is the traditional banking system. It's not Bitcoin. Money will always be used for this censorship-resistant, permissionless money. It's going to enable criminals. Sure, why not? It's also going to enable people to send international remittances without using the banks. It's also going to allow people to be their own bank, to buy things internationally without having to use PayPal or something like that and pay the fees that PayPal requires, and so on and so forth. The positives are so big, they really, really, really outweigh the negatives. And you can even see here in this story, the only way that Bitcoin ATMs are really used for money laundering purposes are when the Bitcoin ATMs themselves don't adhere to any sort of KYC standards or people are using fake IDs. If you're using a fake ID, well, come on. How are you supposed to stop that? It's not that easy for an automated machine to check a fake ID, is it? So these things are going to happen, but these all have daily limits that don't make it so that it's not billions of dollars being laundered through Bitcoin ATMs. You simply can't get that much money out of them. You just can't. But the banks, they can give you as much as you want. They can launder all your money. So for your money laundering needs, boys and girls, don't use Bitcoin ATMs. You just can't do enough. You need to go to your local bank and inquire about their money laundering options that best suit your needs. Anyway, just my 2 thoughts on Bitcoin ATMs being used for money laundering. I'd love to know your thoughts about it down below in the comment section. If you are new around here, subscribe to the channel. That would be super awesome. If you enjoyed the video, leave a thumbs up on it. If you want to know when I put out a new video, you can hit that notification bell. A quick reminder that you guys are super awesome. I thank you so, so much for coming out and watching this video. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.